Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please hit like and subscribe and stick around. So in today's video, I want to show you guys how you can create this design right here. This one says Cozy Season, and I'm using some plaid clipping masks over this. It is super easy to make and super versatile. So if you would like to learn how you can do this design, go ahead and stick around. So in today's video, I am going to be designing for either a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or a hoodie. It would work for all of these. So I'm going to go ahead, select custom size. I always design 4500 by 5400 whenever I'm doing shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts, those kinds of things. I find that it gives me the most versatility, and it is the size recommended by Amazon Merch. So that's why I do that. I typically like to design for the darker colors in most cases, unless I'm doing something specific for a lighter color. And so it really depends what your goals are. For this one, I'm thinking I might do something that looks a little bit better on a lighter color. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the background white this time, which is something I don't usually do. And we're going to do one called Cozy Season. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to hit T on the keyboard here, and we're just going to start by writing cozy. And this design is going to be all about masks and font. So what I'm looking for is a really narrow font, but something that's bold that I can make kind of fill a good amount of the page here. So you can go ahead, do a search for narrow, which is what I usually do here, and look at some of the different narrow fonts that are available to you. So that doesn't really look super narrow. For example, there's this one. That one looks pretty good. And so you can just sort of start playing with these, and you can use any that you want, but you want it to be relatively bold because we're going to do a clipping mask. And whenever we do a clipping mask, I need it to be bold enough that I can, put a mask over it. So for example, that's way too thin there. I can always make it bold. That's a little bit better. But anyways, I played with this a lot, and what I ended up coming up with as one that I thought worked well, League Gothic works pretty well, by the way. I do like that one. Also one called Placard Next Condensed, which is this one here, and I can make that one really bold. And so if I want to do this, you can see, make it go all the way across so that it's really filling the page a lot. I can space these out a little bit too if I want to, or I can keep them pretty close together, just depends. But now I've got something that's really big, really bold, filling the whole page. And what this is essentially going to start off as, this is going to be a frame because I'm going to put clipping masks over here that are going to be sort of like a Christmassy plaid. So again, you can use any font that you want, and you can do this again and again and again with different fonts as well, as long as you can make it kind of big and kind of bold. So you're going to need to pick something a little bit more narrow, and you're going to want it to be bold and easy to read. Beyond that, you can do any font you want and as many fonts as you want. So let's just do this as an example here. So I'm just going to put Cozy Frame, and we're just going to go ahead, download this. I do need it to be a transparent background. I will hit download. It is ready to go. That is going to be my frame. Now we're going to go ahead and pick what we're going to put as masks over it. So what I'm looking for are different Christmas plaids. Okay, so we'll go over to the side. We'll go to elements, and we can put Christmas plaid and see what comes up. Now there's photos, there's graphics. It really doesn't matter which one you do, but we're going to look for some different plaids that might look good in here. And ideally, you want them to kind of all match. You want them to kind of look good on a darker background. You can decide the size that you want them to be too. So most of these will be seamless, meaning if I wanted to, duplicate it, a lot of them, Control D, I can put one right on top of the other. And they'll usually, oops, I don't know why it's not lining up. I guess it is. Line up pretty perfectly like that. In which case, let me go ahead and put that in the back. I could have something like that. And now if I go ahead and use my transparency here, I'll slow down here in a second. I can see sort of how the plaid is going to work out. So that looks pretty cool. If, for example, I just decided that I'm going to just do that, now you can see how the plaid would kind of work out there. So you can decide how big you want the plaid to be, how small you want the plaid to be, etc. So just things to keep in mind. We do want it to line up pretty perfectly. And assuming it lines up pretty perfectly, I can just go ahead and do that. And that's number one. And I can keep looking for other plaids that might look good, something that might go with that. So I do like that shade there. Here's some more plaids here. This is like more bright. So if I wanted to do something a little bit brighter, I could. This one actually lets me change the colors. So if I wanted to change it so maybe it's a little bit less bright, maybe a little bit more that kind of darker green tone. So maybe not quite as bright, maybe not quite as blue either. I could do that. I could take the red again and I could try to match that red a little bit better. And so just different ways that I could go about changing that. Use a little transparency here to sort of see the way that that would look. And if I like it, I can crop it down and make it so it just covers the O. And so this is essentially all we're doing. We're finding plaids that we like. We're going to cover them up and we're going to put on a clipping mask. Super easy. Here's another one. This one. This one's kind of light in and of itself. Here's some up and down ones. Here's some of the green that looks kind of cool. And so you might find yourself playing for a while looking at different plaids. And of course, play as much as you want, find as many as you want, try out different ones. I always recommend making multiple versions of a design because you may find that certain colors work better or certain patterns work better. And so it's always a good idea to sort of play with these and see what you've got. That's not even plaid, but you could do something like that, a little checkered. Or here is a cool sort of all reddish plaid that might look kind of cool here. Let's see how that would look. Oops. Oop. Undo, undo. There we go. And so I could do something sort of like that. And you can keep playing, keep looking, see what you find that you like, all sorts of different cool Christmas plaids, different color palettes you could use too. So there's different green ones. There's some that have like the navy blue, some that are more of the buffalo plaid. Buffalo plaid is always popular. And so all sorts of different plaids. You can also check out the photos too and see if there's any of the photos that you like. Matter of fact, I kind of like this one here. It's got a lot of colors in it. I don't have to duplicate it and deal with that. So that actually looks cool. I'm just adding the transparency so I can see how the plaid lines up. So that's really all that transparency is good for, is just lining it up, seeing how it looks. And so you don't get as much in the way of plaids that are super good in the photos. It's a lot better in the graphics when I was searching. But again, play around, see what you find that you like. Try out a lot of different things if you can. It's always good to try out a lot of different ones. Try out different plaids too. So you'll notice there's more of the vertical plaids, there's more of the diagonal plaids, there's more of the buffalo plaid style versus the plaids that have the smaller lines. Just all sorts of different ways that you can go with this. So try out a bunch. Really, that's the name of the game, is experimentation. That's how you're going to honestly learn the most, is by trial and error. That's pretty much how I learned how to do all of this, was a lot of just trial and error. So I've been practicing this for several years now, so I've learned a lot just by, again, trying things out, seeing what worked the best and what maybe didn't work as good, and doing things like that. Anyways, what I'm going to do once I've kind of picked the plaids that I want is I'm going to get rid of the transparency. By the way, if you haven't used transparency before, just this little checkered box at the top, if you click that, you can make anything a little bit more transparent. It just helps you to see how everything is going to line up. But once I'm ready to go ahead and download this, I want to get rid of all the transparency, so it should all be set at 100. And so now what I have is my mask. So I can go ahead and retitle this here, and I can put mask. And I'm going to go ahead and download this. And I'm going to download as is. And so now it is ready to go. Now when I'm doing clipping masks, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Everybody's got different techniques and different platforms that they like to use. I prefer to use Photopea because it is fast, easy, and free. So if you haven't used Photopea before, literally just type photopea.com into your browser. You don't have to sign up. It's totally free. You don't have to create an account. You don't have to anything. Just hit photopea.com and it should bring you to a page that looks like this. From here, you hit open from computer. That will pull up your downloads. And then all you have to do is select your frame and hit open. And if you give it a second, it's going to pull your frame up. So there it is. And then from here, if you go to the left-hand corner of the page where it says file, click that. 3 spaces down, it says open in place. That will pull up your downloads again. And this time you're going to select your mask and hit open. And it should pull up your mask and it should put it right on top. Now, I know people have had trouble with this before and they've asked me questions, and without seeing your screen to see what you're doing, it's really hard to give feedback, but it really should look like this. You've got one layer here, that's your background. You've got your mask layer on top. It should be the one that's highlighted, and assuming your page looks like this, all you have to do is go to layer. About halfway down, it'll say clipping mask. Click that, and it should automatically put your mask over your words. And that's it. That's all I needed Photopea for, and it was that fast. It was just a couple clicks. I'm going to go over to File, Export as a PNG. If I give it a second, it's just going to pull up a little page. Here it is. You can retitle it here if you want to now, so I can put Cozy Plaid. It's still a PNG. Everything's still the same size, and all I have to do is hit Save. And it's boom, saved to my downloads. And now I can jump right back over to Canva. And it was really that fast. I'm going to leave all of this alone in case I want to change anything or make other versions. So I'm just going to add another page here. And from here, I'm just going to pull up what I just made from Photopea. So I'll go over to my upload section and I'll upload it there. And so here it is. Here is my cozy. And you can see I can bring that right across the top. And that looks pretty darn cool. So this is actually going to say Cozy Season. And so what I'm going to do now is come up with another text box. And this one is going to say Season. And Season is going to go underneath. Now again, you can pick any font you want. I'm going to do something that's a little bit more scripty, but you really can pick anything you want. Go ahead and play with your fonts. If I put script, for example, oops, I can come up with lots of different scripty fonts that may look good, and then I can just sort of play with those, and so you can see how that might look if I did something like that, and go through, play with lots of different ones, and see what sort of style looks best. After playing for a while, I came up with one that was called Christmas Gloves, and it is one that I got off of Creative Fabrica, by the way. Creative Fabrica has a ton of different fonts. There's plenty of free fonts, by the way, too, and I do have a video on how to do that, but you can always go to Creative Fabrica and look through the free fonts and download them. If you have a membership, then you can do all of the fonts. You can download any of the fonts you want, and then you can upload them to your Canva page to use. So I do have tons of fonts that I also use from Creative Fabrica in addition to the Canva fonts. And so that's just, think of it as one more tool in the toolbox, you know, one more option for fonts. So here I've got the season that I like. Right now I have it spaced out a little farther than I'd like, so I do want to bring that spacing back to 0, but there you go, there is my season. I think I'm going to go ahead and make it one of these redder colors here. So pick one of the reds, and that looks pretty cool like that. I can make it go all the way across like that. I could also add some flourishes too. So if I wanted to add like a snow flurry or snowflakes or anything like that, I could. I can leave it like this. I can also do some sort of an outline on it if I wanted to, just in case I wanted to put it on different colors. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this page, and let's say I did want to have it on a dark color shirt. I wanted to have it on black. Well, now it's not really popping as much as I'd like. So what I can do is take this cozy, go to edit image, and here what I can do is go to shadows and outline, and I can throw an outline around that, and I can use any color that I want, but something light that's going to pop. And I can throw a nice little thin outline around it too. Something like that is going to look cool. And so now it would look good on a dark color as well. I mean, I can do the same thing here with seasons. I could go to text effects and I could do outline. And I could do any color I wanted for the outline of the text effects as well. And I could bring that down so that season popped there too. Or I could just go ahead and make season a lighter color. So if I did want to do this on a dark color shirt, maybe I would decide that I want season to actually be white. And I could just leave it white, or if I wanted to at that point add a little bit of a border here, I could do a red border or anything like that. And that might look cool too. So there would be one that you could do on a dark shirt. Here is one that you could do on a light shirt. And either of these are going to look really nice. Again, if you want to add any kind of graphic, you can. I mean, there's plenty of graphics that you could do. You could always just do a broad search for Christmas to get ideas. So sometimes I'll just do broad searches. That'll give me some ideas of things that I might want. And then from there, if I find something I like, then I can do a more detailed search. So for example, here's sort of a snow flourish. And so I could pick snow flourishes or something like that. Now, it doesn't really go with the colors, so I probably wouldn't do that. But lots of things that you could do. Gloves might work good. Little stars would look good. Beanies, anything that sort of is giving you that wintry look. You could do something like a red snowflake here. I might go ahead and change the color so that it matched a little bit better. And so, for example, if I made season a little bit smaller, centered season, oops, and then took my little snowflake, made that a little bit smaller there, I could do something like that. I hit Control D to duplicate it, by the way. And there I have my cozy season, just like that. And that looks pretty cool. And I can make the snowflakes any color I want. So right now they're that sort of a dark color, but I could go with like a nice gold color, and that might blend in since there's a little gold here and there. That might actually work. And so I can always use my eyedropper feature here to hover over the design and see if I can try to find any of those gold tones to match. So for example, something like that. Now I've got my gold. That looks kind of cool there. And I like that. What I might do would be something like angle this. Maybe I angle it 8 degrees or so, and I can angle this one in again. Maybe another 8 degrees. Oops. So that they're not straight up and down. Depends on kind of whether I want it to be straight up and down or sort of look like they're at angles there. And so that is pretty cool. Again, if I wanted this to pop, I could also do the gold around here, and that might actually look good too, because I know I've got the outline here, but I could take this, do an edit image. See, sometimes I'm just thinking as I'm going. So I try to plan out these videos, but sometimes my best laid plans still turn into me just sort of playing around. Maybe a little bit more on the yellow side there. Maybe a little bit darker. Somewhere in there-ish. So I'm just sort of playing around with the gold. I want it to be a lighter gold. Maybe lighter still. somewhere there. Let me bring that size way down so it's just a really thin gold outline. So something like that looks kind of cool. Cozy Season with just the light gold outline. Again, I could do the gold outline around here. And again, this is just me playing. So here is that. Let's go ahead and bring that outline way down so it's nice and thin. Maybe I try to make this gold a little bit lighter. I can try to make it match the gold that I picked here, which was a little bit lighter. So something like that. And so now this one works really good on the light shirt. Might look good. It'll work on sort of a heather, so it's gonna still show. If I put it on a black, it's gonna pop on the black, even though I don't necessarily like it as much, but that still looks pretty cool. Let's go back here. Maybe I make Season a little bit lighter. I can pick one of the other reds, so maybe the red from the Y. Was that a little bit brighter? It's a little bit brighter. Just to see if I can get that to pop a little bit better. And so anyway, something like that. Super easy design. You can make it a zillion ways. You can do it a zillion times with different fonts and obviously with different masks too, so there's nothing stopping me from changing up these masks, and so that would be easy too. It says Cozy Season. I went with Christmas stuff, but you could do Cozy Season and have fall stuff and do more of a fall plaid too and make these leaves instead of snowflakes. So there's no end to the creativity and the ways that you can do this. And really, other than my playing around with it a lot, it was super fast to do. If you knew exactly what you wanted to do, it would be boom, 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 really quick and easy to create this design here. And I can title this, let's go, Cozy Season on White. And let's go ahead, we'll download this one. It's gonna be a transparent background. It's a PNG. At this point, I only need the page that I'm working on, which is page 2. I can hit download and now it is ready to go. And of course, I can put this on t-shirts. I can put this on sweatshirts. I can put this on hoodies. I suppose if you wanted to, you could put something like this on a tote bag or on a pillow. And so there's, really no end to what you can do here. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. I hope your sales are going good. If you have video requests, you can put those in the comment section below too, and I'll see if I can add you guys to my list. And that's all. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you find this information useful. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.